Okay. All right. We're live. Okay, I can see my comments. Let me see who's on here. Where do I see that? All right, Nolan, first one in the room. Sorry about this picture quality. It would not allow me to use my very nice camera. For some reason, it just did not want to recognize it. So I'm using the inset thing. Okay. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes just to get everybody kind of in. I'm hoping we're not going to end up leaving anybody behind. Um, if they watched the video, it ended up being way more informative than we had anticipated with the way it was shot and the narration. I would love for this to scroll so I could see everybody. I said I gotta manually scroll. Oh, there's my count right there. Beautiful. And don't be talking smack about my baby coat. I'm trying to cut down. I do not want to be drinking 15 gallons of soda as a habit. We got to be healthy. We got to make our way to Blerdcon. We got to make Blerdcon if we're going to enjoy Blerdcon. Am I right or am I right? This guy gets me. Oh, man. I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Here in DC, the weather is beautiful. It's about 62 degrees, sunny, which is weird because it was supposed to be some huge storm system that was going to come through and kill everybody. But now there's deer running around. What is that all about? Oh, stop it, Thomas. You know more than you know. You've been volunteering for Blerdcon for 4 years. You got questions. Well, we will make sure that they get answered. So let's see. Let's give about one more minute so we can kind of get our quorum going. Let anybody know who you know is going to miss this for one reason or another that this will be recorded and it will be posted for all perpetuity on the Facebook social media and perhaps even our website. Just really depends on how crucial the information is that we share here. Um, and this is a work in progress. This is just a snapshot from March. We may do another one in a month or two if the updates are significant enough. But the key is that we engage and we find a way to kind of keep everybody in the loop. And I'm not that kind of person that likes to just post stuff on a page and then just say, "Oh, it's on the website," because I'm one of those people. It's like I need you to tell me, just tell me. I need to hear it with my ear, and and then we go from there. We can work everything out, but you got to give it to me right in my ear. I got to hear it for it to stick. I can do research. I can Google just like everybody else, but some people you just gotta you just gotta see it. Okay. Might as well say, all right, people already got questions. Look at this. Warren, no, we do not have chapters. We're not a membership organization. We are an event. We may do additional smaller events, in other places, little pop-ups here and there. as time goes forward. It's one of the things we've been trying to do since before COVID, but the chances of us ending up in Germany, it's let's say it's remote. Like that may not happen. Uh, for now, you would need to call Delta Airlines and get your butt over here to DC to enjoy Blerdcon. We're only 4 years old, man. Give us some time. Give us some time. We're flattered, but you know. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I am going to assume that everybody did the homework, did the reading, got the syllabus. I know we only posted it in just a couple of days ago. Um, the opportunity to get out there into the site came about because I had gotten my shots and I was feeling safe and bold, and I knew it needed to happen. The whole idea of just reactivating the convention space is going to be daunting no matter what. I mean, until COVID is completely eradicated from the face of the earth, there's always going to be concerns and things that we need to deal with. But being the first convention on the schedule um, is important. And it means that there is no template and that we're kind of writing the script as we go. So going to the venue was very, very important for us to actually see what what we were going to be able to do and to allow you guys to see, because the venue is different from the last time you were at Blerdcon if you had been there before. So it's important that you guys got a chance to see the new ventilation system, the new room setups, the new upgrades, and sitting down and talking with the engineering team for an hour about M11 and M13 filters, the general open space and how often that air is filtered and how often it is vented and all those sorts of things. All of that stuff we needed to hear directly from the horse's mouth. And so we put that in the video, and you got a chance to see in the walkthrough, how open and how airy the spaces are, so that it's important that we get an opportunity for you guys to see what is what. Uh, we are taking somewhat of a gamble, a test of faith, hoping that, that outbreaks don't come back or anything like that. But all indicators are that with the vaccines and with people being more and more responsible, by the time we get to mid-July, the COVID concerns for the majority of Americans will be a lot lower than they are now. And so if we are able to do everything that we can do to make the space safe, and making sure we kind of allow for distancing and allow for mask wearing as a mandate and that kind of stuff, it'll be a safe space for people to come and enjoy. So if you had an opportunity to get a chance to see the video, you saw that we are moving some of our clumpy events, like the parties and stuff like that, outside. And that is going to help us space out the convention indoors by putting some of our big programming outside, the performative stuff, some of our panels and workshops, like the dance workshops and the fighting demos, the yo-yo demos, the fire spinners, all that stuff being outside. You're going to be able to treat that half acre of parking lot and food truck space as part of the programming space. And that way, we will never have as much of the people on top of people on top of people, which we always managed to do anyway, even when we were really, really crowded with, as far as attendance in the 2019 event. You probably noticed that you never really felt like you were bumping shoulders with two people at the same time, even when Blerdcon was at its highest attendance, which was 2019. And that means that we have an opportunity to take that to the next level and be more deliberate with it. And as we go forward and we implement new programs and policies, and give you that information, you can make your own decisions about the efficacy of that for you. I think a lot of you are going to get your vaccinations by the time we get to mid-July, and we'll be less concerned about all this stuff in general. If you're walking around 98% immune, then you're just basically considering everybody else's comfort and being a part of the collective action of wearing masks and all that sort of stuff. But the more of that we have, the more comfortable we'll be. So that being said, I'm going to scroll up because I don't want to lose anybody's questions. So I'm going to kind of scroll up and just try to catch some of these. Yvonne, you're asking the question, are there going to be more rooms? Again, we basically took the 2020 convention as an entirety and moved it to 2021. And if you remember, Blerdcon rooms sold out like almost immediately for the end of 2019. As soon as we opened up the room block, for the next year, they pretty much booked up. So when COVID came along and we told people that along with being able to migrate your badge, if you've already purchased it, to 2021, you can also migrate your room reservation from 2020 to 2021. We didn't have anybody release their room for 2021. So our sold out status from 2019 is pretty much the same sold out status for the discounted room block that we had, is pretty much in place as it stands now for the Hyatt. So as much as I would love to say we had more options, we were in 2019, in the lead up to 2019, having conversations with some of the hotels in the area in preparation for 2020 to have more room blocks for people and be able to list them and stuff. But then COVID came along and those went away. Now all of these other hotels have backups of conventions, conferences, weddings, and all this other stuff that is disincentivizing them to work with us for this year, last minute, for room blocks. So I invite everybody to go on Orbitz, go on Travelocity, Priceline, any of those sites that you prefer to get your room within walking distance of the host hotel, the Hyatt Crystal City in Arlington, Virginia. That way, you're gonna do that now and say, because we may be for 2022 be able to work some stuff out with a year and some change notice, but with everything going dead for 18 months and then us coming back, all of the hotels that we did not already contract out, are not sitting around waiting for us, and they're booking themselves up and everything. So I'm afraid we do not have any more discount rooms in the block. If anything along those lines changes, I will let you know. We do not make any money off of the hotel. So I have no disincentive to keep you guys out of any discount room blocks or anything like that for our convention. Okay. Let's see. Elizabeth, yeah, she says, I'm excited for Blerdcon, but I'm afraid we are still in a pandemic. How are you going to make sure we're all safe? I invite you to go and review the video. It's about 27 minutes long. I know it's long, but hey, if Zack Snyder can get 4 hours out of y'all, I want 27 minutes. I want my 27 minutes. I walked through that place and I wore my throat to a fine rasp, getting all that information out. But all jokes aside, definitely check that out. I mean, we're literally pointing at the ventilation system. We are literally walking you through all of the spaces, indoor and out, that we're going to be using. We're talking about, the sanitation. We're talking about the room cleanings. We're talking about the restaurants. We're talking about all of those things. So, to your general question, I think watching the video will give you at least a lot of information as to what our posture is going to be and the kind of resources and actions and policies that we're going to be putting in place. And yes, we will be putting a finer point on all of that as we move forward. But this was about as clear a picture as we could put out at this time to let you guys know, the kinds of things we're doing to make it a safe space and make it comfortable for everybody who will be in attendance. So make sure you do that. Now, obviously, if you have any questions after that, please feel free, the comment section there. We'll be doing another one of these, I'm sure, at some point if there's something immediate that comes up in your mind that you want to ask about, and we'll go from there. Jones Key situation with the tickets. Not sure what you mean. Tickets are on sale. The badges are, you click the link, it's going to take you right to the ShowClicks, landing page where you can purchase, your general full weekend badge, or we do have several of the VIP badges left. And we talked a little bit about that and some of the programming and things that we're going to be putting in place for VIPs, which I'm super excited for. I got a lot of entities that want to do really cool exclusive stuff, and I'm like, I got just the place for you. I got just the crowd for you. This is a nice little intimate group of super fans that really want to have an enhanced experience at Blerdcon. This is the way we can do it. So there's gonna be some really, really, really cool stuff coming out through that. But if that's what you meant by tickets, they've been on sale pretty much since we notified you and the rest of the world back in January that the July 2021 event is on and running, and go from there. This man right here is an inspiration. Well, Jones Key, I haven't met him yet, Chris, but I'm inspired by him. Jones, maybe you two should meet. I assume you're talking about Jones Key, the guy with the last question. That sounds good to me. Uh, do, 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 do. Chris Powell, flying by the seat of my pants. No, no, that's not what we're doing now. We're not flying by this. This is very deliberate. It's ongoing. There's a lot that we have to grab, and make happen. We are making things that are not naturally in place happen. And you're going to see, I'm telling you, the stuff that I've got in the gears right now. And you know me, Chris, when I go crazy, you're going to be like, what in the hell is he planning? And, we're going to do the spacing. We're going to make this COVID safe, but it is not going to sacrifice fun, and it is not going to sacrifice value. I'm telling you, it's going to be off the hook. Judy, no, we do not mail out badges. We're just not high tech like that. I'm sorry. You purchase your badge in advance, hopefully, and then when you show up, if you got a full weekend badge, you come in on Thursday night, and we'll open up registration for the pre-purchased badges. And you just kind of show up. Here's my ID. You know, give you your badge, give you a lanyard, and then you go about your day. I am going to encourage as many of you as I can to come on Thursday. I know a lot of people, you got work, you got other things like that, but I'm telling you, I know you can do it. I see you do it with other conventions. Even though we are not at this moment putting on the general program things that are going into Thursday because our contract with the Hyatt doesn't start until Friday, we are still going to be doing some pre-con events. And it's good to just be able to wake up, take your time, and come down to the con when we open the doors at noon on Friday, instead of being on the road and trying to park and fighting through the crowds and checking in the hotel and all this stuff. It's one more night, talk to your boss, talk to your crew. If you can get a Thursday reservation, either, if you already have one, or if you know someone that has one that you're staying with, or if you're going to get a room nearby, you just make it easier on yourself, and there will be some really cool stuff happening. And we're working with a couple of groups to do some things that are going to make Thursday pop for the early arrivals. So I highly recommend that. As a con goer, I would do it, and that is the only reason why I tell you to do the same thing. Thomas, yes, social distancing is going to be key. Again, the whole idea of taking, the food truck space and making it an active programming space is to pull people outside of the con space and lessen any of the clumping that may not naturally happen inside of the Hyatt. Now, the Hyatt is probably as safe as any indoor venue that I've been in the past 18 months. But I will tell you, outdoors with the wind, you don't get any safer than that. We'll just hope that it's not 125 degrees outside. I don't think that's going to be the case. But we had a lot of participation last year in the food truck space, and we didn't have any programming out there other than food trucks, some music, and a place to sit. So imagine if we actually put, some of the dancing panels or some of the daytime performance programming that we ran indoors last year out there for you guys to participate in. That's going to help kind of space out where people are. And we're also going to be, as I showed in the video, we're going to be cutting down on the number of rooms that the panels are going to be taking place in. So we're taking the air walls out of 3 rooms and making one big room where you can space out the chairs and not have the panel rooms be these little tightly packed little spaces. And that's going to allow people a little bit more room to breathe, literally and figuratively, for the convention. Earl, I know you're going to be there. You better be there because the DC Anime Club is going to be there. And if you're not there, it's a breach of contract, and you'll hear from my lawyers. No, just kidding. But I'm not. No, all right, so Earl will be there. Our room's going to be grouped together in the same area so we can avoid disturbing non-Congoers. Miko, that's a really good question. I've been speaking with the Hyatt about this since day one. I was like, to whatever degree you can, and it's not always, they're not always able to do it, but I was like, if we could just block off, whatever, because they have contracts with the Army, Air Force, Marine, the military, and with the airlines, to that they can't just we can't just buy up the hotel. They always have to have room for Delta Cruise and United and all these other people that are coming in and staying overnight and then flying out in the morning. That's never going to change. So there's always going to be some people at the Hyatt that are not part of Blerdcon. My thing has always been put them on the top floor. Just reserve the top 18th floor, 17th, whichever the top floor is for them so that they're not disturbed by the music. They're not disturbed by us running up and down the halls. It is a challenge because they're different kinds of rooms. And those rooms are in varying numbers on every floor. And when you guys come to the front and you say, I definitely want a double suite, well, there may not be a double suite available, excluding 2 or 3 floors. They may have to dip into that to give you the room that you want, which is their priority. Forget about us, right? So you need a double. Okay, well, all the doubles on the top 10 floors are taken, so now we got to go and put you down there. So that happens to a certain degree, and it does mix things up. Um, so it's really tough to try and regulate in a hotel that you can't fully buy out. But we have made them conscious of it, and hopefully they will make an ongoing effort to kind of keep us as separate because we are running 24 hours, and I feel bad if there's a pilot or somebody who's stuck between two rooms of congoers and they're trying to get sleep, and we ain't. We're just not. Sorry, they're not doing that. So we'll see, Nico. Natasha, I mean, the con space is going to be equally safe for everybody, probably more safe for kids than adults. As you have probably heard, if you pay any attention to any of the CDC or NIH, information about kids and the spread of COVID, they young kids under 12 is what I'm thinking we're talking about here. They don't have the lung capacity to really put out the cloud of droplets and air that is the contagion point for COVID, for one. Two, they're usually a foot to 2 feet below the average height person. So whatever it is they're putting out tends to be kind of around our knees and hip area. So spreading it to us as adults is a lot less. And quite honestly, as many kids as we have at Blerdcon, they are a minority, and they're not all playing with each other, right? It's not like there's a Blerdcon playground where all the kids are getting together and talking and hanging out with each other. Usually with the parents and going where the parents go, and so if the kids are not contagious to adults, and they're not around one another, then the safety for the kids is probably even more than you and me. Because the kids want to play video games and they want to tinker with stuff, and they're not really there to meet other kids. If you notice, they're there to kind of experience the geek experience one on one. Mom and dad are kind of around, but I'm here playing the video games and maybe talking to the person sitting next to me, but that's about it. So I'm not that concerned with the ability of kids to infect one another or affect anyone else, but they will be at least as safe, if not safer, than everyone else. Andre, Ande. Why did I almost say Andre? I got screen eye right now. Uh, I would say give shoot an email to BlerdCon Exhibitions. You're asking about vendor logistics. Uh, they're pretty much going to be, in my humble opinion, the same. Remember, if you're talking about 6 foot as a social distance for a vendor, the tables are 6 feet long, right? And there's about 2 feet between each table, and you're sitting in the middle of your table, and your next person sitting in the middle of their table. There's probably more than 6 feet between you and the vendor next to you. We don't have a whole lot of back-to-back rows, if any, in our layout to begin with. So you're not going to have a person's neck on the back of your neck talking that way, in the layout. And if you watch the video, we walked through the vendor hall and we talked about the ventilation and we talked about the air conditioning and we talked about the space, so you can get a sense of that if you haven't already vended with us, if you haven't already worked with us. But if you have any specific questions about things like that, go to blerdconexhibitions@gmail.com. All one word, blerdconexhibitions@gmail.com, and just ask your specific question, and the department head should be able to give you some more information. If not immediately, but they'll definitely follow up. Chris, good question. Will there be panels and panel submissions? Remember, everything from 2020 got migrated over to 2021. So we are in the process of re-engaging all of the people who submitted panels for 2020 to see if they're still interested in presenting those panels for 2021, which we will give them priority. At the same time, as I said before, we're not working with 11 or 12 panel rooms running around the clock. We're probably going to be working with maybe 3 or 4, at the most. And so the number of programming slots has vastly shrunk from the previous years. If you know, Blerdcon usually has between 100 and 130 panels and workshops every year. Very panel heavy, it's one of our charms, if you want to call it that. But if we're going to make those spaces bigger, that means we will have less spaces. We're taking a bunch of smaller spaces, opening them up to make one big space, and then having less panels and less workshops means that even as we are engaging the people who have already submitted, the number of slots are already going to be going down, and we're trying to figure out where that sweet spot is. How many people are already in the queue? How many slots are we actually going to have to fill? And are there going to be any gaps or spaces that we can then open up submissions for panels and workshops for people to submit for 2021? So that's an ongoing process, and just keep an eye out for that. We'll have some notifications going out about programming once that comes along. But that is one of our biggest ongoing processes, you can imagine. Nick Tarver, what's going on, sir? How you been? Oh, good question. Jones Key, the idol, the guy's inspiration. He inspires me. Jones, listen, good question. Are tickets going to roll over from this year to next year if folks are uncomfortable or can't go? Okay, so that is something that we're working out. It's not a question of what we want to do so much as it is a question of what the software is able to do. And we want to make sure before we give a direct answer to that the software is able to do it. Because remember, when we told everybody who purchased their badge already that they could migrate, we gave everybody a window that if you just forget it, I want my money back, and do a refund. We gave an opportunity for people that was maybe like a month and a half, 2 months window of just us responding to emails and putting people into the queue for, refunding their money off of their badge, right? Everybody else by the con weekend that had not done a refund or had not responded to that, we just migrated them over to 2021, right? The question is, will the ShowClick software now recognize these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that we just moved and dumped into a different year, still be able to access the credit card information to do a refund in the same way as they did for people who just purchased, changed their mind, and COVID and blah, blah, blah. So if we're still capable of doing it, we may be able to offer refunds. And the same question is, can we roll over people who have been rolled over? Now, if you purchased your badge since the summer and weren't a part of that, the answer is should be. Again, I'm not a software guy. I don't understand all the tech. It should be easy for us to do to either roll you over or refund you as any software would do for someone who purchased something perhaps in August and now here in March, has other circumstances. Now, I just want to remind everybody that we do not normally do refunds. like, people who just had scheduling conflicts or just don't want to go anymore, whatever. It is a pain in the butt to do this process. I have to take all of the people whose job it is to work with, registration, and give them the exact same, give them another job, which is just as much work going in the other direction. And it's just something that it's a tasky thing for a volunteer corps that is a part of the team. So we don't normally do it, but because of COVID, and these are extraordinary circumstances, we do and will. But I'm hoping that by the time we get to May or June and we start looking out and spring and people are out and there's no, if the numbers continue to go down, or hey, I got my vaccination, then I feel more comfortable, that people who are concerned now, those concerns will kind of go down. But we're not going to be putting a window or anything out. And we don't have a definitive statement or process yet. So don't email me yet. Once we have a process, hopefully by the end of this week, we'll be able to announce that with all the appropriate click-throughs and links and email addresses and stuff for everybody to act upon. But as of right now, all I can talk about is our intentions and our process in trying to get, that information. Nolan, will there be an automated blurred context for panelists if rooms and schedule changes? I don't know. I delegate that kind of stuff out to the programming department. Sounds like a good idea. I don't know if it's something that they already do. Uh, Part of being a leader is to entrust your team to handle the peculiars and particulars of their department. And as long as nothing's broken and the wheels stay on the cart, I tend to do the Neil deGrasse Tyson, thing of hands off, so I don't get my head chopped off. But if it is something that's happened in the past, I suspect it will continue. I think it'll be less of a problem with 3 rooms and maybe 40 panels. I think we'll have less of an issue of room changes and stuff this year as opposed to last. Again, the programming load for Blerdcon is bigger than probably any other con of comparable size historically. So working out the logistics for it is definitely something that we have to be mindful of, because we're not, a 30,000 person 20-year-old convention that's used to just kind of like bam, 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 bam. We just kind of want to have everybody getting their chance to speak and shine to shine, right? Andre, the video, it's everywhere. I don't know where it's not actually. If you go to the Facebook page, if you go to the Facebook group, if you go to the Facebook Blerdcon 2021 event, if you go to my Facebook timeline or wall, it's there. It's on Instagram. No, it's not on Instagram. It's on what is it? LinkedIn. I put it on LinkedIn. We haven't put it on YouTube yet. It's a huge file. I didn't get a chance to do it today, but it will be up for a long time. As long as it's relevant, I want people to be able to refer to it, to look at. And if you haven't looked at it yet, don't cut this off to go look at it, because you may miss something, one way or the other. But definitely look at it when you get a chance, because it will help a lot. Enitan, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Enitan, you already got your golden ticket in advance. Listen, I'm so proud of what you've seen the video. You even saw the video that we did of it. I did a video. I was so excited about the VIP area. I did a video of the VIP area and a post with some pictures just coming in the fall of 2019 in anticipation of what we were going to do in 2020, and it's only gotten better. So I'm really excited for what that will be able to mean, and what you'll be able to get from it. I think they just did some amazing stuff with that area, and being able to go up there and kind of have an enhanced experience, I think is going to be really worth it. Follow up to you have a question also, Enitan, for Safe Side. Are we going to keep our mask on all day? Yes, there will be a mask mandate for the inside. If you are inside the Hyatt, you will have to wear a mask. I encourage people, and I said this in the video at some point, I encourage people at this point to try and incorporate masks into your cosplay. or your closet cosplay. If you're just wearing the cosplay that's fashionable, just kind of a theme, I don't want anybody to be wearing a mask or not wear a mask because it's messing up, their cosplay. So you have time now to put your cosplay lineup together so that you can wear your mask when you're in the mix of the general convention space. We may allow for people to pull their mask down or periodically take them off if they're in maybe the cosplay contest and you're just about to get on stage and do da 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 da. But as soon as you get back off, say whop, you got to do that. But if you're walking around the con, if you're in any of the con spaces, you got to wear your mask, just to be safe. Now, I mean, again, 3 months from now, everybody and their mom could get, vaccinated and COVID evaporates. If that happens, and the CDC says no need to wear masks, I mean, we may revisit it. But as long as there's a chance that somebody could get infected, we want to err on the safe side and just have everybody wear masks. I mean, I got masks everywhere. I got masks. I don't know why. This is my house. I have a mask at my desk. Why? I don't know why, but I have a mask. I have several masks. Everywhere I go, there's a mask. So don't tell me you don't have a mask. Don't tell me you don't have anything to wear. If I can wear a mask, I'll even wear one of my helmets. It doesn't matter. Whatever works for you, just be prepared to rock it and make it safe. Thomas, the direct questions, I would refer you to volunteers at blerdcon.com. I do not have any information about when that outreach will take place or any of that stuff. Again, that's a department thing. And, I know that they have their ongoing processes. And with that being more of a direct non-general thing, I don't want to make any direct promises to say that some individual over here is going to definitely email you particularly or any group of people at a certain time, because then if it doesn't happen, like Hilton lied to me and I don't want to get in the position to do that. But if you send an email to that volunteers at blerdcon.com, someone on the other end of that can give you a more direct answer as to when they're going to put that out. Thanks for the assist, Myron. Earl says DC Anime Club will have hand sanitizer at the table for the people. And Earl will have a jar for sale too. Might make you forget to sanitize your hands, but we'll make sure you do that too. Uh, Andrietta, yeah, oh yeah, we're not going to not do the food trucks. Come on now, that's where everything's going to happen. The food truck a lot is one of our signature events. As of right now, we have all of the food trucks that were there in 2019 are returning. Nobody asked for their space reservation to go away or anything. I mean, let's be honest. You guys ate for 3 days straight. If you were at Blerdcon 2019, y'all emptied out all the food trucks on Friday, and we had to let all the food trucks go back out and restock and come back on Saturday morning. They are coming back. they're not. You are not going to miss out. We're actually working on ways to get more food trucks to enhance the space and kind of expand, some of the offerings. But we had a really excellent selection of food trucks for, a first time food truck rally. Had kind of one of every theme and genre, and I was really proud of it. I was really proud of, the fact that you guys were interested in that. As some of the best food in any town you go to is going to come from the food trucks, and from barbecue to vegan Jamaican to pizza to slushies and vintage lemonades and noodles, and I mean they had everything, and it was a beautiful thing. So yes, the food trucks will be there. Um, Shadra Benford. I think I kind of addressed this question before about exhibitors and the space between each one. Remember, 6 foot table, 2 feet between the tables. So it's probably going to be 8 feet between you and the next human, and nobody sitting right behind you. That kind of a thing. Um, I don't know how many exhibitors exactly we have. Again, that's a departmental thing. Um, I we have pretty much a full house at this point. So whatever that number is, it's not sitting right on the top of my head. It might be, 100, 200, I don't know. But we have not opened, the application for additional vendors to come in because all the vendor space that was reserved for 2020, same just like a lot of you with your badges, people rolled right over and said we're coming back. Go ahead. So I don't think we have any additional spaces. But if you have any direct questions about that, shoot an email to blerdconexhibitions@gmail.com, and you might be able to get a more thorough answer than I was able to give you here. Jason, the pool. I mean, it's a hotel pool. I mean, that's going to open. I don't think capacity is going to have anything to do with it. It's an outdoor pool. I was not given any information to say the pool would be closed, and no one corrected me from people who saw the video. And, I showed the pool in the video. So I have not heard anything about the pool being closed. Before everybody gets excited, that pool is tiny. Okay, that is not a party pool. It's not a lap pool. You could get maybe 30 people out there if half of y'all were in the water and the other half was sitting with their knees in the water. It's not a big space, but if you time it right, it'd be a great thing for certain cosplay photo shoots, but not big enough for like some big event or anything like that. It's not a Blerdcon space per se, so there's no programming at the pool. You have to have a Hyatt badge to get into the pool. So if you're not staying at the Hyatt, I'm sorry, but you can't play in the pool. But people ask me about it. And look, there's no pool in Arlington. I've checked other hotels. There's no hotel pools. There's no public pools. There's no, pool sitting behind some apartment complex a mile down the road. None of that. There's no pools. I don't know why. There's just no pools in Arlington. This is the only pool in Arlington. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's like the size of a really large jacuzzi. But people have fun with it. I'll let y'all do it. I not a part of my rented programming space, so I don't look. I don't care what's going on in there. Just don't drown. Um, Jessica, I agree with you. Thursday to Monday, the only way to travel. Make it light on yourselves, people. This is your vacation weekend. You gonna fly out on a Sunday, or you gonna try and check out on a Sunday. It's still programming going on when half you guys are checking out. Room checkout is at 11 a.m. We don't lock up Blerdcon till 3 or 4 on Sunday, so you're kind of missing a day in a way. I never, if I can, I never check out on the last day of a big con weekend that I'm attending. Not Dragon Con, not MagFest, none of that stuff. Well, MagFest, yeah, 'cause I live here, but that's another thing. But yeah, if you can do Thursday to Monday, you can feel it'll save you so much headache. You can relax. I mean, I know everybody's job ain't like that, but if you got the choice, do it. Roberta, good question. Is there parking at the hotel? Yes. And should you pay for it? No. It's $40 to park at the hotel. I know it's going to fill up. People are going to do it anyway. I'm not cutting into anybody's business by saying this. There is a valet that when you pull up, that they will park your car, and it is 40 something dollars a day. So I'm not cutting anybody off because some of y'all are just going to pay it. But there's parking like everywhere. There's parking decks within walking distance. What I always recommend people do, pull up to the roundabout or pull up to the street alongside the hotel. If you got 2 or 3 people with you, kick them out of your car, dump all of your stuff on the street, and then drive your empty car to whatever parking that you're able to find, and then come back and move your stuff in. If you pull up under the awning and try to offload that way, it's crowded, and you're going to get a lot of solicitations. They're like, if you're not doing valet, you may have to move, and you can't stay here that long, and all. So you just got to be prepared. So yes, there's plenty of parking. Usually, it's on weekends. It's somewhere between $10, maybe $15 a day. But there's several parking decks within 2 blocks of the hotel, and I just say go to Parking Panda. There's a lot of apps that will help you find parking, but it's Arlington empties out on the weekends, so there's going to be plenty available. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, food truck. Yeah, layout for the food trucks will be the same. Anytime. Good question. How to get to Blerdcon? Man, this is the easiest con to get to. I love this about Blerdcon. So let's say I'm flying. Okay, you fly in, you got to fly to Reagan National Airport. I know there's a lot of action. You got to be careful. Google, Delta, any of these sites, when you say DC, they're going to put you at any one of, they're going to try and say BWI is DC. They're going to say that Dulles is DC. They're not. They're not. Do not. You got to make sure you are flying into DCA. That is Reagan National Airport, because that's the one that is 500 yards from the hotel. Like we at the top floor of the Hyatt Crystal City, you can watch planes land. That's how close we are to the airport. You could walk from the airport to the hotel if there weren't like highways and roads and things that would kill you and run you over. But there's a shuttle bus that rotates. I haven't flown into Reagan National and come to the Hyatt in a long time, but most of these hotels have a little phone booth. You know, you come into the airport and you call, or you might get a number with your reservation if you're coming to the hotel, and then boom, you just get off the airplane, get into that shuttle, it takes you to your hotel. Now, that is only for people staying at the Hyatt. If you're staying at another hotel, you don't want to get off the plane and come to Blerdcon with all your luggage, right? So it doesn't make sense. So if you're going to the Marriott, if you're going to the Renaissance, if you're going to the Residence Inn, if you're going to the Courtyard, if you're going to the Hilton, no pun intended, across the street, if you're going to the Holiday Inn, they all have shuttle buses, right? Do not get an Uber, do not get a cab. There's a shuttle bus that's going to take you to your respective hotel, right? And then boom, do that and then walk over, right? Now, for people coming by rail, you go to Union Station or the nearest rail station, Alexandria, and then you take the metro. And then the same shuttle bus that picks people up at the airport rotates over to there's one metro stop for Crystal City, and they come in, they pick people up. It's like you don't necessarily call for that, but it's like every 15 minutes, maybe every 20, that just rotates through. I think there's a lot of hotels that do the metro as well. Check with your hotel. They may not do the metro. I'm sure that most of them do the airport. So you don't need to rent a car. You don't need to buy an Uber. You don't need to take a cab. Chances are there's a shuttle bus that's going to take you to your hotel, and then you should be walking distance to Blerdcon. And I just love that about the con. It's easy to get to, using light rail, using the shuttle buses, flying in. But remember, you have to fly into Reagan National. Do not call from Baltimore, Washington, which is like an hour away, saying, "Where's my shuttle bus?" Like, you're kind of in trouble. It's just, so just make sure you're flying into Reagan National and you're good. Okay, got the Metroway bus question. We're going down line. Pro wrestling films. Suggestion. Understand that. Thank you for addressing. A lot of you guys are answering each other. Maybe I'd take a break, go get some coffee. Feel good here. Oh, okay. Thank you, Ashley, talking about the food truck rally. Yes, Natasha. I think, yes, somebody answered you already about the badges rolling over. Oh, it's Annie. You see, there you go. You put your whole name in there. I don't know you. I'm like, who's in the town of Okananda? Like, oh, Annie. Oh, there he is. Yeah, and I can't see your picture. It's like an eraser head right down here, so I can't see. I don't know why I'm sitting here talking about mass transit. If we're gonna have a mass transit and parking and how to get to Blerdcon panel or department, if we get that big, I'm putting Annie in charge. This guy knows everything about how to get there. I mean, I'm telling you, I have been asked in public about how to get to Blerdcon while we're at other conventions in his presence, and he brings up the Metro map. He's got it like on lock. He's like, "Oh, this is what you do." Blah 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 blah. And he's not even from DC. He's from Philly. So and he works with the bus system, SEPTA and stuff like that. So trust me, Annie, when that job opens up, you're gonna get a call. Uh, Eric, good question. Will the arcade games be outside, or is that too risky? Yes, it is too risky, and there's power considerations and all that sort of stuff. And it's just hard to see the screen in the sun. I don't know if you ever tried to play a video game when like the sun is hitting the screen. It just won't work. Uh, so they won't be outside. They will be inside. We are probably going to have more video games than we have ever had before. I am actually in conversations with MagFest to come back and participate and sponsor part of what is already a big video game complement, 30 consoles, and we had like 30 cabinet games and stuff. So we're probably going to expand that by a little bit for this year, and just maybe put them in more spaces and places that they weren't in previous years. So if you're looking for a video game kick, we're going to have the classic games and some of the fighting games and the Xbox and the PS4, PS5s. I mean, it's going to be insane. So yes, the games will be on point, but they will be inside. It's just really hard to do it outdoors, moving them around and all that sort of stuff. And we wouldn't do that to you if you go in blind, try to play. Good question. Chris Wanamaker, my wife wants to know, will you be making a custom Blerdcon mask? No. They are very expensive, a lot more expensive than I thought they would be. Badges actually don't, masks don't cost that much if you're just buying cloth. There's 1,000 vendors that do it. But if you are looking for a mask that is cheap enough to act as a badge, which is kind of what we were thinking of doing, and be rewashable, because if you're wearing it each day, you don't want to be all funky from 3 days. By the time you get to Saturday or Sunday, you're like looking like, oh, I smell. It has to be able to hold up to hand washing in a sink at least, right? Uh, that kind of mask is just way, way too expensive for 5 to 10,000 people. We just can't afford to do it. Now, if we get some big sponsor swooping in from Mount Olympus that wants to pay for that for promo purposes, or they got a grant to promote COVID safety and all this stuff, we'll do it. I'm in. But we don't have that now. So we are going to continue to work to build a reservoir of masks that people can purchase from our merchandise setup, where you can purchase one, because I think it'd be a cool thing to have, but actually providing it as the mask, that's a little too much. Fruit Fetty is coming back. Love the strawberry lemonade. See, look, I'm a food truck. All my food trucks are in here. I see you, Mr. Stackhouse. Look, what y'all don't know about Mr. Stackhouse? Stackhouse is doing it. That barbecue truck pulls up. He is and his family come in and they put their foot in all the barbecue, and you can smell it from miles. If you want barbecue, trust me, this is the guy. Where are you at on Sunday, man? Let me swing by and get a plate. I haven't cooked yet. Let me run out. Let me run out here real quick and catch Mr. Stackhouse at his house. Swing up in the driveway and grab a rib. See how much for one rib. We'll see, Mr. Stackhouse. We will see. Oh Lord. Yes, Christopher Wanamaker, the best damn anime screening room in the DMV will be in place. So yes, we will make it happen. Okay, Chris, if you've already purchased a badge uh, and you still want to do media and get that credential, yes, you do need to do that, because having a badge doesn't give you media access. So if you're going to now apply for media, you still need to send an email to press@blerdcon.com. And when that process of vetting kicks in, a very, very bright young man by the name of Ian will reach out to you, and you guys will have a conversation about that. Mhm. See, Annie up here giving directions already. He probably doing a bunch of dry runs, just coming in and out of DC, making sure that it's all working. John Quill, it's your first time coming to Blerdcon from Michigan. Yeah, I used to live in Michigan. I don't know what part, maybe Detroit. We are only in several places in Michigan. It's usually the, it'd be Detroit to Saginaw, and then it's just Toledo and that's it. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear where you're coming from. Hope we stack up. The Midwest is an area that we love. To bring people in from. It's a blurred territory for real. Got a lot of con running friends that do some anime cons out there. So I'd be very interested to hear what part of Michigan you're from, and who you'll be repping from. So that's cool. Daryl, good question. How soon can you announce the guests that will be appearing at Blerdcon? Brother. See, I said it in his voice because he's a pro wrestling dude, so he got to say it like brother. He's got to say it just like that. If you don't say it like that, you're not doing it right because that's what Daryl demands. It's just the way he is. But yes, we actually have the flyers and the posters designed. I wanted to wait to have this conversation to clear up all the important questions about COVID and all that stuff before we start sending out all the ads for our cosplay guests and some of our other guests. Um, we are everybody who was reserved for 2020 has migrated over to 2021 with maybe two exceptions of people who are just kind of like looking to see what the safety protocol is, and we're talking with their people to see what we can do to kind of lay this out in a way that's safe. But we will start announcing that probably this week. Just kind of rolling out every 3 to 7 days. The next guest. So good question. Thanks, Nolan. Man, listen, it's I know that we're anxious. We've all been kind of closed in. I mean, unless you're in Atlanta, Atlanta doesn't care. But if you're any other state other than Georgia or Florida, you have been locked up to one degree or another. And nobody's having cons except for Florida, which is another discussion that we can have in another live discussion. It's kind of funny, but the idea of us being able to come back and just so happening to be that Blerdcon is the right size at precisely the right place on the calendar to be able to pull this off. You notice the big conventions like San Diego Comic Con, which is a week after us. They are going virtual for theirs and trying to do something in November because they have just this huge engine that they can't put together in 3 or 4 months like we can. So we're going to have the template. We have to get this right. If we get this wrong, then we're not going to be a service to the con community. It's important that we do it well, and just turn it all the way out because that's what's going to give everybody the comfort to in the community to go back out there and breathe life into the cons that had to skip a year or even two over COVID. So we take that responsibility very heavily. Uh, we're just like y'all. I mean, nobody's doing this for money. Nobody's doing this for a living. I know I'm not, me and Haas, my partner and co-founder, we haven't, made any money off BlerdCon yet. So we're doing this. We're all a volunteer army. We got day jobs and half of these people got families and stuff like this. So getting that engine back up, getting back in the groove without the cons, we usually promote cons, our con at other cons. We have a table, you've probably seen us, with the DJ and we're grooving and having a good time, handing out flyers and all this stuff. And, our family has opportunities to come together for planning, for communion, for fellowship, and just all of that is an organic thing that allows us to do what we do. But we're not going to even see each other for the most part until BlerdCon. Because there's no conventions, there's no other places that we can come together. I mean, I can get in the car and drive down to Virginia Beach where a good chunk of our team is, but they're not all vaccinated. They can't all come out and hang out with me. I'm not going to be throwing my immunity in their face. What kind of leader is that, right? So, it's not easy to do it, and it's not something that we don't even want it to look easy. We want it to look hard. We want everybody to understand the collective effort that it's going to take to make BlerdCon feel easy. We're working hard now, so when we show up at BlerdCon, we can relax. Does that make sense? And everything is going in the right direction, even though right now things are dark and vaccines are where they are and all this stuff. I'm just really confident by the time we get to July, it's going to be in a really good place. Columbus, Ohio, Michael. Okay, I hear you. Do it. Do it. Detroit. Love it. You go to Cass Tech, you go to Murray Wright. Where'd you go? You which one of those schools did you hit? Where are you at? Finney? Would you go to Finney? Let's see. Houston, Judy, you got it. Oh man, the RDC crew. I love those guys, man. They're famous on YouTube. They were pre-TikTok, YouTube famous group of guys that made some hilarious videos. Who have a con out there called DreamCon that they're planning, and my hope is that they will have the opportunity to come out to Blerdcon because we were in conversation. It's not as a guest thing, so don't get excited. But just come set up a table, be in the con space. They come in, see, they'll come to your con and they'll be all incognito. They kind of just, hey, what's up, man? Instead of like, hi, I'm one of this virtual Wu-Tang clan of video makers that you might not have spoken directly to, but I just want to high five you, let you know who I am. No, they didn't do that. They just come in and have a good time. And then they come out like, yeah, we were there. Like, oh, you didn't say nothing. I got you a drink or something. So we're going to try and get them out there in a little bit more conspicuous way to promote their convention out there in your part of town. And hopefully things won't be locked down because your governor is an idiot. But that's a whole other, like I get my Oprah, thing. I want y'all to be safe. And we're going to make sure that takes place. All right. I'm not coming for the ATLians. I can't wait to get to ATL. I love my Atlanta crew. I love the cons. I love the people. I have spent more time in Atlanta than probably any other place outside of the states that I've lived in. And I just love the food. I love the people. I'll go down there for a paperclip conference if they let me go. I love it. I just love it, love it, love it. And the I make fun of it, ATLians, because when they go to the compound, there's like 4 or 5 masks. And they don't care. They up in opera partying like COVID. What? Who's that? Is that a new rapper? COVID? Let me get it. And we're just like, all right, Atlanta, calm down. Just let us get through this. I know y'all in Georgia. I know y'all turning up. I know y'all think Henny is gonna protect you. If I drink enough Henny, I'll keep it safe. But I definitely want y'all to be safe because I want y'all to come to the con, and I want Atlanta to be safe for me to come down when it's time to do Dragon Con, whenever they announce what they're gonna do, and MomoCon that I love so well, and Anime Weekend Atlanta. I want to do all those things. Afropunk. So we're gonna be in Atlanta, so keep an eye out for us because we're trying to do right. We're trying to do right. Trying. All right. Yes, Nasheed, you heard me. Henny. See, this is the having fun stage of the con where all the questions run out, and now people are just talking, and I'm fine with that. I just wanted to make sure that we get to this point organically, and we're not overlapping anybody's questions or concerns or anything like that. Yeah, just to circle back, anyone who came in a little late, if you haven't seen the video, go to the Facebook page, go to the Facebook group, go to the Blerdcon 2021 event. The video is posted there, and it's going to stay there. I don't think we'll ever take it down. I think it went really, really well. Shout out to SF Productions for putting that together and coming out and filming with us and covering pretty much everything that we did there and making it come to life. Here's the thing. I think that Blerdcon, because we are where we are on the calendar, is going to be the receptacle of all the pent up enthusiasm and pent up energy from the nerd community. And we are going to have people, as we've seen here, from all the multiple states and countries that people are coming from. We're going to see a resurgence of people come through. If anything close to the best case scenario happens with COVID by the time we get to July, this is going to be the biggest convention, that we have had thus far. And I think that's important because if we are looking at that possibility of exceeding the 2019 numbers, then we have to plan for the best case scenario. I mean, we might get 6,000 people, and that'd be beautiful. That's fine. I think we do well in whatever numbers that we have. If you remember Blerdcon year one, that was like 3,000. But, nobody cared about the numbers because it was the community, right? So I'm not saying that bigger numbers makes a better con, but if we're talking about social distancing, if we're talking about spacing, if we're talking about accommodation for people needing rooms and all this stuff, we have to plan for the largest attendance. And you also have to remember a lot of these questions that people are asking are folks that are coming, from far away, right? There's nobody from DC in this group. Everybody from the DC metro area within 50 miles of here can make a game time decision on Friday morning. It's going to wake up at 8 in the morning and go, all right, I'll go to Blerdcon. And then they'll, that could be 5,000 people to do that. Remember, there's 600,000 people in DC proper. I'm not even talking about inside the Beltway. I'm talking about in DC. You get out into the DMV, if you will, you're in the millions of people, who are within driving distance and last minute hop in the car, bring your ass, type of decision making. So we have to prepare for all of that. So we are working in partnership with the Crystal City Bid and the city of Arlington to make sure that we have, the outdoor spaces we need, programming. We're working with them on everything, and we're going to try our best to make sure that this is, while it is the con that everybody's coming back to, but I want this to be the con that everyone's coming back to. When you're coming back to Blerdcon, you are coming back to cons in general. I want you to leave from Blerdcon knowing that convention spaces can be safe, knowing that it's okay to go and patronize your next favorite con, the next con on the calendar, and say, hey, you know what? I had a great time. I'm not looking to see that it was a super spreader event. Everybody, we got enough people in this country that are vaccinated. We have enough mask wearing, rules in place, and people being conscientious and conscious of what to do, that, I can go to XCon and all this stuff because we're kicking that off. Now, I didn't plan for us to have that responsibility in place. That's not what we do. Blerdcon decisions are Blerdcon decisions. But trust me, all the other conventions are kind of looking like, what they doing over there? They're going to be able to do, oh, okay, all right, all right. And if we pull it off, they're going to pull it off. And then there's going to be another con and another con and another con. And next thing you know, there's going to be cons happening everywhere. We're all going to be back as a community. We're all going to be coming out of the woodwork. And it's going to be a whole brand new day situation, like the last scene from The Wiz, we dancing around the sweatshop. It's a brand new day. So, again, just stay tuned. And I have to remind you guys, if you are not already subscribed to our social media, do that. And make sure you set your notifications so that you see us first. The algorithm is not going to put us in front of you, even from the page. And you know how the algorithm is. It don't love us. It don't love nobody, right? It's not paying money. So you have to be active in putting us first. So every time we put something on the page, or every time we put something in the group, or every time we put something in the event, boom, it sits right there at the top of your news feed so you don't miss anything. I don't want anybody here to miss some vital bit of time-sensitive information that we put out. We can put it out in email form, but some of y'all don't check email till you go to your office. You might be 3 days from a Friday email dump till Monday when you actually see it. If it's time sensitive, you might miss it. So just do that. Be proactive so that we can be proactive and be the most responsive and responsible to you, because you're not attendance. You're not attendance. You are the community, right? You probably see and feel when you're around me or around the team or around Blerdcon that you are our friends, you are our extended family. And so in that regard, we want you to be safe. We want you to have all the information. We want you to have a good time, because this is important. I had no idea how much of my friend circle was tied into conventions until there were no conventions. I took that totally for granted because I just kept seeing everybody, oh, you're at this con, you're at that con. And I was like, wait a minute, now there's no cons. Now I'm not seeing anybody anymore. Like, oh my God, all my friends are in the con scene. I didn't even think about it, right? And this goes for the con running community as well as the con attending community. So we take it very seriously, and we want to make sure that that when we do this, that we do it right, and that everybody is having a really, really good time, and the faith in the con experience is restored, and we can all come back and be safe together. So as of right now, I want to go ahead and close things out. Uh, this will be as it stands on the social media. It's going to save and everything like that for anyone to view that missed this. I think even with the end of this, I think that the video walkthrough was probably more detailed and more digestible information than even me answering the direct questions, which are good. But with that in mind, now let me make sure I got everything taken care of here. We talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about that. Yep, talked about that. We talked about that. We covered everything. But that's because you guys asked the right question. So that's all that matters. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for your time. Please feel free to comment under any of the posts. We do see them. We do get to answer most of the questions that come in. And again, if you are already in touch with or know how to get in touch with a department, it is better to email them directly because if you message me in DM, I'm just going to forward it on. If you don't know, that's fine. Get at us any way you can. But I want to make sure that the right people are answering the questions, because if I give you the wrong information, I'm going to have you mad at me and my department head mad at me, and I don't want anybody mad at me. So I would try my best to get it all right. And again, love you guys, and hopefully you guys will have a good rest of the weekend. And just to end on a high note, Zack Snyder's Justice League was amazing. Boom, gotta go.